Well, today we will probably be talking about Nick Chubb and the coaching and stuff like that, but that's what we'll be talking about. So sit tight as we play the intro. I think the intro corrupted because that is not what it's supposed to sound like. I might have to check that because that is not at all what it's supposed to sound like. That is weird. We might have to figure that out and check and make sure it's not corrupted. I'm gonna have to redo the file. I apologize for that. But hopefully maybe it's not. Maybe it's just my side. But anyway, we're gonna talk mostly about Nick Chubb, because he's the big story right now. And the big story with him is pup list situation. You don't know what the pup list is? The pup list is this list you can put players on. It stands for something I don't really know exactly, but it really doesn't matter what it stands like. It is this list you can put players on in the off season where they will sit out the first, I think, 4 weeks of the season. And I should just look it up, but they'll sit out the first 4 weeks of the season. And here we go. Pup list meaning. Hopefully, it gives me what I want. Physically unable to perform the pup list is a roster designation NFL teams can use for players who were injured before training camp began. When they are placed on the pup list at the start of training camp, he is put on the active/pup list. So basically, what that means is you miss a few weeks in the regular season. You miss 3 or 4. Guaranteed. I don't think there is a reversal. I think once you put them on the pup list, they're there forever. They're just stuck there. Now, what this means for Nick Chubb is that he will miss out on a lot of his incentives. About $6 million, I believe, of incentives, which is a lot of money, but it is 2024, so that's like 3 Kit Kats and a Snickers bar, but whatever. $6 million is a lot of money. And so some people believe he's going to not be on the pup list and he's going to play because of that designation would ruin his money. That's $6 million, a whole lot of money, all this stuff gone that he's not going to get. Now, money means a lot, yes, but I don't think for this injury it's going to determine his whole season. I think Nick Chubb, if he ends up being put on the pup list, will be very disappointed because he's Nick Chubb. He would love to play. He's just Nick Chubb. Why wouldn't he want to play if he can? But he'll eventually listen to the doctors. Everyone will eventually, unless you're like a psychopath, which you never know. Some of these running backs are insane. But what this means is the pup list is kind of a no, unless it really actually is necessary. Now, again, this injury is something we see very rarely. Like you don't see a guy have his knee snapped in half and come back to play next year fully healthy. I don't think he'll ever be fully healthy. I think that knee will be crippled somewhat, like a little bit, for the rest of his life. I mean, again, you don't just snap your knee in half and just recover. You recover mostly, but I really don't think that he is going to ever be able to use that knee in a sense of 100%. Personally, I don't think you just recover from that and just go on with your business. Even after years, I think he still will be suffering side effects from that injury. I think in 50 years, even, I still think he will be suffering from side effects of this injury. I think it is that severe. But I'm not saying he's going to be at 60% the whole season. I'm saying he might be at 95%. But for a running back in general, and for someone so physically insane like Nick Chubb is, that 10% or 5% is a lot. It means a lot. Like he might not be able to do 700-pound squats anymore. He might only be able to do 640 pounds, or he might not be able to run through 3 guys. He might only be able to run through 2. He might not be able to run at 20 miles an hour, maybe only 18. He might have to check his knee and ice it and do a whole bunch of stuff that he didn't have to do, because that's just the nature of tearing so many ligaments in your leg, in any part of your body, really, because I treat this like a Tommy John surgery for baseball. Obviously, it's different, but in some sense, it is the same. You know, you tear a tendon or a ligament or whatever in your arm, and you have to wait a while before you come back. And as you get, and actually, funnily enough, Tommy John actually makes your elbow stronger. But I don't know if that's the case for leg injuries, but especially for a running back. A lot of people, I think, don't understand the power and taxation on your body as an NFL running back. It is truly insane what those running backs go through on a weekly basis, and they're just fine. Well, fine. But they just come back next week and they perform the same way, and we don't think anything of it. But I mean, it is unbelievably physically taxing being a running back in the NFL. Just being a running back in general is just insanely taxing, and it just is crazy. But it's just insane that it just is a weird situation, and not one that we see a whole lot, because of how rare this injury is, and because of just how deep this injury is, I guess, for lack of a better word, how extensive, that's a good word, this injury is. It just keeps, there's just layers on layers on layers. It's like an onion. Just ACL, and then there's lingering things, and then there is the possible weakness of the other tendons. There's just a whole slew of consequences that come with this injury and that come with this kind of thing. And it's just a lot. There's just a lot going on with this whole thing, and just a lot going on with everything that might be a problem and might be a lingering thing that might make him a little slower. And there's no guarantee. He's Nick Chubb. He might be totally fine and end up being just perfectly fine and 100% and be totally fine. 700-pound squats, like everything I said, just normal. But there's also, and a big chance, in my opinion, because of how extensive that injury was, he won't be okay fully, and he'll never recover to the extent he was before the injury. He'll never be 100% again in that leg. And I know he has NFL trainers, NFL surgery. He's got a lot of stuff on his side, yeah. But it's just a big, and I'm totally fine with being proven wrong, by the way. If Nick Chubb wants to go for 600 yards a game or something in the first 10 games, sure, go right ahead. That's 6,000 yards, but you know what I mean. If he wants to have 1,600 yards and an Offensive Player of the Year season, go right ahead. But I don't think he's going to have that happen. I think the problem with him is not problem, but the problem with the injury is it's just so extensive and so brutal. You don't just come back from that at 100%. Now, maybe in 10 years, he'll be 100% after maybe another surgery or whatever, but not a year and a half after. And maybe he'll be fine. You know, maybe I'm just completely wrong, and he'll come back and he'll be just as great as he was and just as good as he was, and no problems. No, he might even be better. I don't know. I'm not a doctor. This is just my assumption. Just critical thinking, I guess, and how he'll perform. But I might be completely wrong. I don't think I am, but who knows? Now, before we very briefly talk about just Kevin Stefanski, we'll play some ads real fast. Is my music even on? I don't even know. I hope it is. I hope there's... Okay, it is. We'll play some ads real fast, so sit tight. All right, welcome back to Browns Breakdowns. Hope you liked those ads. This is going to be like a minute talk. It's going to be really, really quick. Kevin Stefanski and Andrew Barry got extended, which is great. That means they'll both be back for a little while. I think that's great. I think that's really nice. So that's just cool. That's just a good little thing. I think it's very good that Kevin Stefanski is coming back. He won Coach of the Year. It's kind of assumed he'll be back. Andrew Barry has just been so good. It's kind of assumed he'll be coming back. So it isn't really a whole lot to talk about. It isn't really a whole much. Just a quick little thing. So yeah, that's about it. I hope you all enjoyed. Where's my outro? Oh, I never put up my banners. Never mind. All right. I hope. Oops, wrong music. Nope. Don't. That's not what I wanted. I love you all. I hope you guys enjoyed. I don't know when I'll make a podcast. Maybe next week. It might be in 2 weeks. Again, there's just not a whole lot to talk about. It's just kind of the off season right now. I will talk to you guys eventually, though. Love you all. Peace.